Here's my preview of the number 7 Baylor versus Iowa State men's basketball game. Yes, I know Iowa State's no longer ranked, and I get that, but they are receiving votes. And I will mention this right off the top. No Caleb Grill for Iowa State. He's been kicked off the team. And apparently, if you check his Twitter account, he said something that he regretted. So, just a FYI on that. And I don't know whether or not Keontae George for Baylor as well as Langston Love will play. Both of those are game time decisions. Yeah, Iowa State is receiving 20 votes on the AP poll, while 42 on the coaches poll. Just to give clarity on that. What are some players to keep an eye on? Because Caleb Girl's no longer on our list. He's like he was the third leading scorer for the team. And he's dealt with back issues, I know. In some games, that's why he's not been playing it some. But he played it the last few. So, obviously, Jaron Holmes, number 13, 6'4", 207-pound guard. That's a senior. 13.1 points per game, 36 for 106 on threes, 65 for 97 on free throws, 3.6 rebounds per game, 3.2 assists per game, 2.3 turnovers per game, 1.1 steals per game, 2.2 fouls per game. Gabe Kalshire, or Kascheur. I apologize if I butchered that last name. Number 22, 6'4", 194-pound guard. That's a senior. 12.8 points per game, 62 for 176 on threes, 46 for 63 on free throws, 2.4 rebounds per game, 1.8 turnovers per game, 1.4 steals per game, 2.6 fouls per game. Now, Osunniyi, Osunniyi. I apologize if I butchered that last name, but you gotta give me some slack on that, because some of these names can be hard to pronounce. Number 21, 6'10", 210-pound senior. Center. He's a center and he's a senior. 8.7 points per game, 3 for 13 on threes, 40 for 59 on free throws, 4.1 rebounds per game, 1.2 turnovers per game, 1.1 blocks per game, 2.6 fouls per game. All Jazz or All Haz Kunk, K-U-N-C, number 5, 6'8", 222-pound forward. It's a senior. 8.1 points per game, 24. Let me look real fast. I'm gonna have to double check if I got that wrong. On Iowa State. Just try to. If nothing else, I'll fix it on my own, but I'm not gonna restart this here. So. For 72 on threes, 30 for 40 on free throws, 4.5 rebounds per game, 0.8 turnovers per game, 1.2 steals per game, 1.9 fouls per game. Taman Lipsey, number 3, 6'1", 200-pound guard. That's a freshman, 7.5 points per game, 4 for 22 on threes, 37 for 48 on free throws, 3.7 rebounds per game, 4.6 assists per game, 2.4 turnovers per game, 2.1 steals per game, 2.3 fouls per game. Robert Jones, number 12, 6'10", 240-pound forward. That's a senior. 5.7 points per game, 21 for 53 on free throws, 3.7 rebounds per game, 1.4 turnovers per game, 0.7 steals per game, 2.7 fouls per game. Trey King, number 0, 6'7", 236-pound forward. That's a senior. 5.4 points per game, 3 for 11 on threes, 17 for 21 on free throws, 3.8 rebounds per game, 0.7 turnovers per game, 0.9 steals per game, 2.7 fouls per game. Hassan Ward, number 24, 6'9", 215-pound forward. That's a senior. 2.8 points per game, 0 for 1 on threes, 2 for 6 on free throws, 2 rebounds per game, 6.7 steals per game, 1.4 fouls per game. Now, the last player I'm going to mention is because the other two don't hardly play. Demarion Watson, number 4, 6'6" 197-pound guard. That's a freshman. 1.7 points per game, 4 for 18 on threes, 4 for 12 on free throws, 2.6 rebounds per game, 1 foul. Rebounds per game, 1 foul per game. First of all, you have to do a better job than last time and take care of the ball against Iowa State on the offensive end. But of course, overall, limit your foul trouble as much as possible. And I know there might not be any Keontae George or Langston Love in this game. I would feel better if one of those came back so there was a little bit more guard depth for Baylor here. If both could come back, that's ideal. But we don't want to rush them back, especially Keontae George, because the NCAA tournament's around the corner. And the Big 12 tournament, too. Now, on the defensive end, you have to force turnovers. You got to get the rebound. You do a better job on the glass than last game, for sure, because you gave up so many offensive rebounds. You got to make them uncomfortable. And limit the second chance points. Limit the points in the paint, if possible. Don't let them get to the lane that easily. Make it hard for them. I would also say transition as well as fast break. You got to limit those. You got to limit their attempts at the free throw line if possible, so they don't get so many attempts. So yeah, that's most of that. And of course, you need to contain Kalshire and Holmes as much as possible. So that's definitely the two biggest players right there. So, and you gotta contain the shooters, contain the slashers. Now offensively, you have to take care of the ball. You gotta get to the free throw line and make your free throws count, of course. You gotta get some points off the bench, and you gotta limit their points off the bench too. You gotta get some points in the paint. Just drive to the basket at least, and get some points off turnovers. Like I said, transition, fast break. You gotta get those. Good shot selection in this game. Just not try to have so many dead ball turnovers too. You know what I'm talking about. And I would also say you gotta rebound the ball. It's that way you get some second chance points. And some of those second chance points could be kick out threes or straight up to the rim if nobody's near. So obviously, I don't know the status on whether or not Keontae George or Langston Love would play at all. You got to make adjustments on the fly on both ends of the court here. So that's obvious. You have to do that. Especially what if there's foul trouble? For instance, like Jalen Bridges. For example, not the name that he's going to do it. It's just, then we're going to have to bring in, I would say, John in first off the bench in that situation. And if there's a guard in foul trouble, we might have to say, for example, like Dale Bonner or Adam Flagler, one of those three healthy guards. If one of them is in foul trouble, we might have to get John in and put him as like a small forward type. That wouldn't be a bad idea. As long as power forward type, as long as Jalen Bridges is not in foul trouble, of course. And Flo Thamba as well. And you gotta have LJ Cryer step up. You gotta have Dale Bonner step up, like he's been doing the last two games. Adam Flagler as well. Jalen Bridges, Flo Thamba, Jonathan Chama-Chachua, and of course Josh Uzuwuna if he needs to play. If he needs to. Same thing goes for Caleb Bloner and possibly Jordan Turner, because I am not sure that Keontae George or Langston Love will play. But if they both do or one of them does, great. I mean, if they get to play, I hope they could step up too. It's just, or both of them. But I'm just not going to assume they're going to play, nor I'm going to assume they're not going to. It's like, I'm not going to be surprised either way right here. And this is a massive game right here. First of all, for Baylor, win this game, you guarantee yourselves a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. No issues whatsoever. 0 issues. Of course, for Iowa State, they're reeling right now. They lost the last 10 out of 14 games here. They should be still in the big dance, this NCAA tournament, but they're going to be not as high. And of course, both these teams want to improve themselves in terms of the Big 12 tournament on where they're going to be. So that's obvious that that has to be the case here. I mean, if Baylor wins this game and they have Kansas State lose to West Virginia and Texas lose to Kansas, they can finish number 2 in the Big 12. So, and of course, there's tiebreaker rule. There are tiebreaker rules, which they don't want to deal with. And it's important to finish the regular season strong as well for both of these teams. So, especially when they're going to go into conference tournament next week. So, that's just naming some keys right there for both. I mean, like, naming what it means for both these teams going forward from here. Because both of these are NCAA tournament teams. Even Iowa State, sure, I don't think they're on the bubble by any means. Though they've been not playing good either recently. But I'm going to check. I know the latest bracketology has Baylor as a 2 seed, I believe. I definitely know. Yeah. The latest bracketology just came out just today. And I'm going to check. Baylor would be a 2 seed. They would be. And Iowa State would be a 6. And that's even in spite of losing the 10 out of 14 games here. So, and of course, there's a shot for Baylor to be a 1 seed. It's just they have to win every game. Like this game right here and the conference tournament, which they have never done, in order to be a 1 seed. Anyways, if you like this content, hit like and subscribe, and see you guys later. It's 5 subscribers. We're on the road to it. Let's go.